All right. Hey, Dr. Kimberly, it says we're live up there somewhere. This one.
Somewhere up there.
This one.
Somewhere over the rainbow.
You just started way too high. I have some down here.
Okay. So you know what? We want to say thank you so much. You have tuned into Rolling on the Road with Dr. Kimberly and Dave. We are so excited. Yes, 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 yes. Because March, I do believe it was March 11th of this year, we had our Disability Awareness Day. There were some great legislators that showed up, some wonderful vendors, and had some great keynote speakers, some great panelists. And there was a time in the midst of that wonderful long day where disability advocates of Kent County, who, yes, everybody, woo-hoo, let's clap right there, put this together. We were at the Croc Center. What a wonderful venue. But that was, prior to being at the Special Olympians. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Special Olympians.
That will never stop being funny. So, yeah, anyway, but that was prior to moving into the facility at 160 68th Street Southwest, where now all the events will be. It's going to be that happening place. But you know what? Something really great that happened that day. There was this wonderful young lady. Oh my God, she's got the biggest smile. And I think that, she is the queen of hospitality nationwide, like the international queen of hospitality. She received an award. Yeah. And it was for Volunteer of the Year. We need sound effects.
Like an applause button. And we don't need a laughter button because we do that. See, I told you we do a lot of laughter. Jess, I hope you don't mind.
Oh, I love it already. I just love it.
And so for 2 weeks, we've been working to get Jess on the show. And guess what? She's here. Yeah. And you can see in the background, exactly where she is doing what it is that she does best. She is at the front desk volunteering for Disability Advocates of Kent County.
It is so awesome to have Jess part of our crew. When Dr. Kimberly's like way back in March, like we were on Camelot still, and I'm like, we were, I thought, it's hard to believe we haven't been here forever at 160 68th Street Southwest. And Jess followed us. Of course, we gave her the address. She knew how to find.
She didn't have to get it from your baby mama cousin, milkman,
We wouldn't tell the milkman. Well, we did tell the milkman because we need our milk delivered.
Absolutely.
But that being said, no, we totally made sure we told Jess where we were moving. And in fact, it's actually a little closer for Jess, and so the commute's easier. But that being said, Jess, it is, again, so awesome that you are part of what we do. And as you greet folks, answer the phone, and more, and so much more.
That really touches my heart because you have taught me so much. You both did. You both taught me how to be a better person and a better receptionist. And I'm just so darn lucky to have a team like you.
Well, as we've said a few times on this show and in other arenas, I don't know if we ever said it in the arena. I'm sorry, but that jeepers criminy. Somebody put something in my Coca-Cola this afternoon.
Okay, we're not responsible.
They didn't, folks.
What the people's sippy cups.
Sippy cup. But no, in all seriousness, peer support is our secret sauce. And it is the secret sauce of a Center for Independent Living. As we've talked about for now, 2 years, 1 month, and 21 days, if you're keeping score at home. We've been rolling on the road throughout the pandemic, and now after the pandemic, now it's an endemic. There's Ronnie, another previous award winner, because Ronnie, too, fantastic volunteer of Disability Advocates. He says, welcome to this exclusive club, because it is an exclusive club. awesome folks that support us. And it is about, now, of course, Ronnie, he likes Tom Brady, but we're not going to talk about football now. And I love the Green Bay Packers, but it's about people hanging out with people and having fun and learning from each other. Because, Jess, we learn from you too. And we'll talk more about that, I'm sure, as this time rolls forward. But again, it's people hanging out with people. People, when we get to know each other, it's interesting how myths, fears, and stereotypes fall to the wayside.
You know, I want to bring up something that adds a caveat to all of this.
Caveats.
Yes. And that is, Jess lives a differently abled life every single day. You know, when we think about volunteering, we think about, you know, Katie, who has a couple of kids and she's a stay-at-home mom, and, you know, her husband works for a Fortune 500 company. When we think about, oh my gosh, a volunteer at Disability Advocates, yes, that is something that Katie does. Yeah, you know, Katie, mom of two. They got a dog and a cat, a couple of cars, live in the suburbs. But that's not Jess's story. Jess, what is your story? That's not you. I just found out that I'm old enough to be her mom because she's only 23. I was like, what? Oh,
You don't have kids older than 23.
Oh my Jesus. How about
Everybody has asked me multiple times, you know, why aren't you a stay-at-home mom? And I'm like, because I don't want to deal with it right now. I got so much other things going on, like work and family and friends. And it's just amazing how many times I come in here a day and just see a difference in our company. It is amazing. To have a boss like Dave, to have people around that just care and love you for who you are. It's just so
and who are you, Jess? Just
23. I'm 23.
She's 23. That's what Jess said. She says, I'm 23. So Jess is 23 with no kids and just she's living the life of Riley.
And as I pointed out yesterday, though, at our staff meeting, Jess, I'm not your boss. There goes your boss right there, Derek. So Derek is your boss. Derek Collins, I think. Derek, hey, Derek. Is
Derek
working on our show? Derek is a veteran apprentice, graduate of Disability Advocates. Just like Dr. Kimberly, the problem, folks, is you got to be careful who you let in your front door because they stay. You know, Derek, Dr. Kimberly, Jess.
We do.
I know they do. And most of that stain is all of that stain is fantastic. Because
I just went around the building and put my name all over so everybody knows, like, yeah, I live here. I'm just saying.
We gotta, Jess, I hope you don't mind that sometimes our conversations go off on tangents because Dr. Kimberly, we broadcast from the Home Accessibility Center, but I think we need to do another tour soon to see some of those signs and more.
I think
but so. We digress.
Just a little bit.
I love it already.
So Jess, tell us how your days roll at Disability Advocates.
Oh my gosh, I get here at 8:30 in the morning, and then from 8:30 to 4:30, I'm on fire. I'm on the phone, and I could never ask for a better job than anything else. I love my job.
Sometimes she helps me out, you know, with my wheelchair. Like, oh my gosh, I can't steer and carry stuff. And so Jess is like, hey, Dr. Kimberly, you're going to spill that coffee. I was like, what?
We don't want to.
No drinking and driving. And I'm like, what?
No drink. But at the same time, you know, we do like that lived in look here, you know? So we're settling in, folks, the new office. You just heard the promise. We'll do a tour soon so you can see what's on the other side of that cool glass door, and some more of the Home Accessibility Center. And you'll be able to see Jess's workstation in its fullness, because right now you can just kind of see if you walk in the front door, there's Jess. So you answer the phone. What happens if somebody walks in the front door?
Then I have to greet them and professionally greet them, and then they sign in, and then I call the person that they're here for, like if Dave or whoever, and then they meet with Dave, and then they come and greet me goodbye, and that's it for the day. And then whoever comes next, it just goes on and on and on. So
Awesome. Awesome.
yes.
And how many days do you hang out with us?
2 days a week, which I love it. Tuesdays and Fridays.
Tuesdays and Fridays.
Friday. Woo.
Fridays can be a quiet day around here, can it, Jess?
Yes, it can.
You know, but at the same time, people are still working hard. all
Times fly when you're having fun. It really does.
That it does. I can't believe it's already the end of Tuesday. I said to my wife this morning, holy mackerel, can't believe it's Monday already. And she said, because you can't, it's Tuesday. But anyway, it happens. And it's Tuesday, so Jess, you're in the office. We see that.
Yep.
Answering the phone, greeting guests. Anything else you get to be up to when you're hanging out with us?
Hopefully I can do more for you guys, whatever office work. No, I enjoy it. People ask me all the time, do you regret not getting this job? I'm like, no, I don't regret it because I love it.
Loving it, and building your skills.
Mm-hmm.
Coolness.
Yes.
So, were you surprised back in March when you got the award?
Oh my God, you have no idea. I was in tears the day that my mom was there and my dad. They're just like, my body just like, what? And when I heard my name, I was really nervous. So I'm like, what? They said my name? And I was just looking around the room and I'm going, yeah, they said my name. And then when I got the award, I was shaking. I was in like happy tears. I was like, and I kept looking around. I was like, okay, I got to go give my mom the biggest hug ever because I know she's proud too. So, oh, thank you for whoever just said congratulations.
Deborah?
Deborah Vick is all the way in California, down in the Bay Area.
Ooh, nice.
Yes.
You now have coast-to-coast exposure, Jess.
Yes.
And a few other countries.
Yeah.
So you were surprised. We like to surprise people with this award because, you know, we save all the surprise for little kids on, you know, Christmas and birthdays. But us adults, we like, well, not all adults, but a lot of adults like surprises.
Yes. We do.
So
we're about 15 minutes after the hour. We want to say thank you so much for tuning into Rolling on the Road with Dr. Kimberly and Dave. And today our guest is Miss Jess Stranz. Oh my gosh, so excited. She was nominated and got the nomination for Volunteer of the Year at Disability Advocates of Kent County. And what I love is Jess. You have a little bit of a disability yourself.
I do. And you know what? Yesterday, Dave and I.
Oh, Dr. Kimberly disappeared, but you can tell the story. Well, she'll come back.
She'll come back. Yesterday, I volunteered to do a Williams syndrome presentation. And I just really love educating people about that because it really brings me joy. It brings me happiness to spread the Williams syndrome word around the world that people don't know what it's like to have it. And it could be a struggle. Sometimes people have struggles in life and we get through it. So,
well, you know what? We have some viewers here. We are on 7 different platforms, actually 8 platforms, and we are in 10 countries. So can you educate everyone who is tuning in?
Yes, I would love to. So Williams syndrome is a disease that you don't actually get diagnosed right away. You have to take a fish test to actually see, like, or a DNA test. Like, yeah, my daughter has Williams syndrome, or because there's like, they do blood tests, and then your cells kind of depend on, yeah, I do have Williams syndrome, or no, I don't have Williams syndrome. And then that kind of depends on what steps do you do next? Do you do more testing, or do you just stop and then wait? Because I was 2.5 years old when my eye doc actually diagnosed me. And my parents were freaked out because they were like, what do we do? What's the next steps? And ever since I was 2.5, I had a lot of surgeries, eye surgeries, ear surgeries, heart surgeries. The heart is the major dangerous one because it's like it's called heart ablation. It's an 8-hour surgery, 8 to 9 hour surgery.
Holy
Wow.
mackerel.
And it could be severely dangerous because last year I almost had to go into emergency surgery where they shock your heart to regular rhythm. And then if it doesn't, they have to shock it again to get the right rhythm. So that was painful. It was painful last year.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm going to say this, I'm a community organizer by training and a vocation. And so, when people ask, they'd say, "Hey, what's Jess's disability?" I usually say, "I don't know," because I don't need to know. I know Jess's abilities, and I know she's an awesome person to be around. And so, as Jess kind of alluded to, she did this training for us yesterday, and now you're telling even more of the story. That again, that the serious medical parts of it. At the same time, it doesn't slow you down and stop you from being a tremendous, excellent person.
Nope. And I keep fighting for it every single day. So just keep fighting, hopefully for the good.
Now, I know this will come as little surprise to you, Dr. Kimberly, but Jess, so when you were smaller and after you were diagnosed with Williams syndrome, you mentioned a bunch of surgeries, but there also were some therapies, right?
Yeah, I did a lot of therapies. I had to do speech. I had to do writing. There's a lot of delays that people are afraid of doing because they're afraid of hurting other people by being delayed, or there might be other people that are afraid to tell certain people what they might be going through because they might feel other people might be hurt by it, and people ask me all the time, why do you have Williams syndrome? And I'm not afraid of telling them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a fighter. I've been fighting ever since I was 2.5. So it's just kind of one of those where I know people are afraid, but I'm not hurt by it. So,
right.
I think that's the piece that I really love. I have been in the super ability community now for 9 years. And I think about all of the able-bodied people that have so many excuses as to why they cannot volunteer or give of themselves, whether it's time commitments. And yet every time I come into, disability advocates and I see you and I say, wow, yeah, not just one thumbs up, but, 2 thumbs up. And it's not that, oh, wow, that pat on the head. You know what I mean?
yeah.
We get that a lot. It's like, oh my God, wait a minute, let's do, oh my goodness, it's just so wonderful and so sweet. You volunteering, that's so cute. And it's like, no, this is what I'm doing. This is what I've been called to. I think that everybody needs the opportunity, to live their own self-directed life. And whatever that is, other than shooting up other people or stealing something or being naughty. I mean, we're not talking about that kind of self-direction, but it never ceases to amaze me that how people underestimate our community. I guess that's the best way to put it. That just really and truly underestimates um, what we have to offer, what we bring to the table, whether we're bringing our own table or like, yesterday I was in a meeting and it's like, oh, you guys need a chair. No, I come with my own chair. So I'll just sit in a corner in my own chair and just pay attention to what's going on in the room, So.
Well, and it's that piece of the help we give each other.
Mm-hmm.
Because, as I shared it was 2 Fridays ago at our Black and Brown Community Partners lunch, my definition of disability is a medical label that can be used against you. And both of you have such a label that can be used against you by others. And I don't. But guess what? I ask for help all the time. And so it's like, just because you ask for help, it's like, again, we're all in this together. Back to peer support. How are we helping each other? How are we supporting each other and moving forward? So that's, yeah. And I know, as Dr. Kimberly said, people ask Jess for help throughout the day here. And guess what, people? Jess provides that help. She's a person with a disability. No, she's a person with abilities and a great attitude and gets the job done. So
she definitely has come to my age.
Can we just say hallelujah to that one? Because if you go back in March, where we were at that Disability Awareness Day, where that nice person that was walking up, I can't remember her name, she was sitting right next to you. And her story about her disability, where she said people just need to lay off and just be nice about other people's disabilities. Where she was saying, you know what, people just need to back off, lay off, and let people be their own personality. Like where she was saying, like, it's okay to, ask questions, but it's also not okay to make fun of people of their disability. And I think she was very, very good about that. And she was very, very intelligent of what she was saying. And that really touched my heart, touched me back in March when she said that, because a lot of people are just going off and, it's just lay off. People have disabilities because they were diagnosed with it. You just don't go and get diagnosed. There's a whole bunch of tests to take. So
that's a really great point. A really great point. And I think we don't think about that.
Yeah.
I was trying to decide how to feel yesterday when I had one woman in particular that would not stop talking to me. I mean, not that I don't like talking to people, but it was. So I think it's really cool that you have on nice clothes. Okay, thank you. And that's how I was just like, okay, thank you. She goes, no, but I mean, like, you're color coordinated. And I said, but that's what you're supposed to do. Right? And she says, yeah, but it just seems to me like that would be so much extra. I said, to put on a pair of matching shoes to your clothes. And she was like, no, but like, okay, you get what I'm saying. I said, no, I don't get what you're saying. And I said, you got up, you chose to wear jeans and a t-shirt, no makeup. Okay, that's cool. And I said, but I chose to put on a dress and put on some lashes and lip gloss. So, I mean, we both had an opportunity to decide how we wanted to dress for the day. And so then she walks away, she comes back. Okay, I'm sorry. I just can't help it. I said, obviously.
Obviously.
So I could just see my daughter right now, like, see, this is where your grandkids get this from. Mom, why? Why are you this person? Well, because she's that person. I mean, I just didn't. When I tell you for 15 minutes, this lady just kept coming back, and it was just, I'm just so overwhelmed.
You were annoyed. You were like,
So like, why are you? Why? What is this?
You know, it's people get focused on some of the most inconsequential, but for the wrong reasons. You know, I mean, as we've pointed out before, there's a raccoon hiding back here in my long ponytail, and people are like, you know, the opinions on both sides of the issue. It looks cool. It looks like it should be cut off. All of those things. But it's just like, you know, I guess. But then it's that exactly where they get it from. It skipped a generation, went from grandma to grandkids. But this idea that somehow, again, you know, I mean, the expectation that as a person who's a wheelchair user, you should, like you said, just wear a pair of sweatpants and never makeup, like an old T-shirt.
The crux of the 15 minutes. You know, she didn't want to say that, but that's what it just. I mean, and then at one point she just did like this, and I said, "So what's the problem now?" Okay, I'm just trying to figure out, like, this must be so complicated. I said, what's complicated? I said, did I wake up looking like this? I said, what? No, that's just good genes and, you know, little eye-hand coordination, you know, put a little lash on. I mean,
you know what? People don't look the same as you, and you look at them and you're like, okay, people tell you, like me, for Williams syndrome, for example, if I look like just like Dave, and people come and look at me and they'll be like, oh, yeah, you look like Mr. Dave. And then 15 minutes are like, oh, yeah, you don't look like Dave. You look like somebody different. And it's just like, but I don't look like the same as people that are diagnosed with Leyland syndrome. I look different from them. But you can say you look like somebody, like your mom or your sister. And then you look like, and then you see them and you're like, nope, you look like totally somebody different.
Yeah.
You know,
other people's it's not expectations. It's worse than an expectation, like other people's barriers and you can't be this. You are a person with Williams syndrome. You cannot volunteer at Disability Advocates. You don't have the abilities. You're in a wheelchair. You can't look good when you go out, you know? It's just like, you have to, whatever, you know? I mean, it's just like people.
And you know, I was just this far from, it was like, Kim, you gonna have to be kind, even though in her mind, you know, it was kind, it was complimentary, that for 15 minutes, she was just like in awe, like, everything about you matches. I said, yeah. She said, the shoes, the purse. I mean, like, so is that difficult? Obviously it's not, because I did it and I got it done and I executed it well. So, you know, but you don't want to say that.
But I mean, a lot of folks
just
do that. And again, is it difficult because you're a person with a disability? She didn't say that, but she meant that.
Oh, it was inferred. I mean,
oh yeah, I mean, well, exactly.
So
Totally. And
then I had another person that walked up, as you know, they were listening to this bantering, if you will. And they just said, oh my gosh, you knocked it out the park again. You're looking wonderful as always. Love the colors. And you know what? You're just being you again today. And putting us all to shame, looking as wonderful as you do. And I was like, thank you so much. You know, and then the lady looked like, well, I kind of meant that too. No, that's not what you meant.
I think people don't understand when you say certain things, it could hurt them. Like if you say like, hey, you look really good, but then they keep going on and on and on about like what you wear, or how you look, or what your shoes wear, or like your hair or your eyes. And it's just like, can you please stop hurting? Because it's just like it might hurt somebody else, It's just like, can you
But
see?
you are beautiful, Jess.
Thank you. So are you.
I mean, you're beautiful. You're always well put together, and I don't look at you like, oh my God, it's that girl with that Williams, thing. And
Yeah.
wow, isn't she cute? Because there are certain features that you have,
Yes.
with what is the Williamson diagnosis. Just like if you were born with Down syndrome, we can definitely tell by the eyes, the shape of the head, like, oh yeah, okay, you got Down syndrome. So I think that some of the features that you have are features that people are paying good money
Mm-hmm.
to get. You
Yep.
know, like the fuller lips, the fuller cheekbones, and that, or the fuller rounder face. But that is part of your disease.
Yeah, it is. And I think because people aren't understanding the full, like the Williams syndrome, they think, oh, yeah, it's awesome to have it. And I'm like, but there's some competitions that you have to really focus on, like your heart, like your ears, you're sensitive to hearing, or, there's certain things where, like, for me, it's so like depressing. Like when I go into surgery, like a year ago, I would hold my mom's hand and I would just be like, Mom, I love you. I pray for good things. And, I would start to get in tears because I'm like, what if and then told the nurse, I said, please tell my mom that I love her forever. And that just made me almost in tears because I was just like, what if I don't make it out, through this surgery that is 8 hours long? So it was just a heartbreaking thing to go through.
Aw, I got some tissue. I'm there with you. We're there. We're there. We're there.
It's yeah. I'm looking for this headline that I am just, it reminded me of what we're talking here. That's what I'm like. Looks like I'm not paying attention, but I'm paying attention because, and then let me just look one more place. Because this is going to be in honor of our international viewers. It's a headlines in, there's Ronnie, absolutely, totally, his ability. I could imagine your folks, Jess, where in my spare time, I happen to read, the Irish Times, whatever that's worth. And the headline yesterday in an article was, why do we say all the wrong things to parents of children with a disability? And of course, the next article would be, why do we say all the wrong things to people with disabilities? And the person wrote, that the golden rule of supporting others is understand first, as opposed to somehow thinking that, oh, you need to be fixed. Or, they don't understand that, Dr. Kimberly, you spend time looking good because that's who Dr. Kimberly is,
Mm-hmm.
And Jess, you are your ball of joy in our office because that's who you are. And as opposed to, again, these like, shouldn't you be like whatever, Shouldn't you be in back to those sweatpants and a baseball cap, maybe, Dr. Kimberly? And Jess, like, shouldn't you be like in a sheltered workshop or something? What are you doing at the front desk at Disability Advocates? And so it's just like, gosh, people, why are we so, and of course, that's just the tip of the iceberg of this week, but why are we so just beyond rude to each other? And, you know, folks with disabilities, that we somehow believe we can control how you think, feel, act, look. I don't know.
And that video that I don't know if you watched this morning, Dave, but that video says how people are so endearing and how people can be really unique and joyful and happy and excited about certain things. And that video that explains Williams syndrome, it says endearing. That really touches me when people are like, you're so endearing, you're so joyful to be around. It's just like, I know, but it's so joyful to be around everybody else that, you know, may not understand Williams syndrome. So
Yeah.
I think my first knee-jerk reaction was like, oh my God, I need her in my life every day, all day, because, you know, things get busy for me. They get crazy. I have a lot of responsibilities. And it's just nice to have someone around you that is nice and genuinely likes you. And you don't have to have a syndrome to have that, other than the be kind, be nice syndrome. You know what I mean? You know, and they don't have a diagnosis for that. I don't think, you know, there's no pill we can take. If there was, I'd be passing them out and buying them, giving to everybody. I'm just saying. I start with myself. But not one time from day one when I met you did I stop to think like, oh, if she got something wrong with her. I was just like, the only thing, I just love her personality. And I love the energy that you give me, and it connects with the energy that I have. And then it makes me go like, yes, you know, I can keep on going. I think the other day when I came in, I was feeling a little down, and you were just right there just to see your smiling face. You pushed the button so that I could come into the office, and I'm telling you, I need my tissue. It meant everything to me. It meant everything to me. You were just genuinely kind, and it wasn't a burden for you to assist. And you know, there are just times where, you know, people will rush to get to the door and feel frustrated because it's difficult. You have to tell them how to hold the door. You know what I mean? So then they're frustrated with you because it's like, you should be happy that I thought enough of you to open up the door for you. Now you want to tell me I didn't even open up the door right? And you just takes the sail, the wind out of your sail, the air out your balloon, you know.
And there she's even working while on air, saying hi to people coming in the office.
I'm telling you. And so to see your face when you opened up a door to assist me, I was like, oh my gosh, we didn't even have to say anything. You just innately knew, you just did, and you treated me with such humanity. I don't even want to say respect. It was just the great humanity. Just
peer to peer.
Yep.
It's just, you know, folks, we're all in this together. It's nobody's keeping score where it counts. You know, we keep score on the football field. Ronnie, that dang Tom Brady, we're not going to talk about him. You know, we keep score in some places in life, but when it really counts, we don't keep score.
We don't.
You know, it's just, yeah.
And I think that's what I like, you know, and I really appreciate about you, Jess, is I think even without Williamson syndrome, you would be who you are.
Yep, I agree.
You know, you're not that way because of it. You are it.
Yeah.
It's just who you are. It's your nature.
You're so kind, Dr. Kim. I'm so lucky to have you around and Dave and everybody else.
It is. And I tell you, I would take 1,000 Jesses. I take 1,000 of her and then some. You know, I really, really would. It is now 40 minutes after the hour, and you have been rolling on the road with Dr. Kimberly and Dave. And our guest has been Miss Jess Stranz. She is the volunteer extraordinaire at Disability Advocates of Kent County, which is now located at 160 68th Street Southwest in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Oh, located in the wonderful Special Olympians Michigan building.
Special Olympians.
Woohoo! Yeah.
And soon, folks, you'll get a tour. If you weren't able to be out for the ribbon cutting or any of our events. Speaking of events, real quick segue, the annual ADA celebration, so the Americans with Disabilities Act.
It's coming up soon. Oh, my
It's coming
goodness.
up in 3 weeks. I think 3 weeks, yeah.
Just about 3 weeks, yeah.
Almost exactly 3 weeks. July 19th at 5 p.m., but not here. It's at the Kentwood Library. One of the challenges of here, and we're working on it, is transit stops at 6 o'clock. But in the city of Kentwood, it goes till, 11 o'clock or plus. So from 5 to 7 p.m., 3 weeks from now, ADA celebration.
One day after my birthday, so all right, everybody bring something for my birthday. It's my
birthday. So
And my
celebrate Monday, celebrate the freedoms we have and the freedoms that others want to take away from us. So we'll celebrate on Monday and continue to work for justice. Then Dr. Kimberly's birthday, and then the next day, ADA celebration, July 19th, Kent District Library, Kentwood Branch. Go to our website, Facebook page. You'll get the address. Jess, I hope you're going to be there.
Yes, I would love to go. And if you didn't know, July 6th is my first anniversary with you guys.
It is.
Yes.
Mackerel.
Oh, my goodness.
It
I have some. Wait a minute. We got something for you, though. We got this wonderful.
Uh-oh.
Here we go. Rolling on the road with Dr. Kimberly and Dave for being our guests today. So I will bring it tomorrow. I have a meeting there at Disability Advocates of Kent County, located at 160 68th Street Southwest. Yep. If you see some chicken, I'm tooting my own horn as I always do. But you'll see me riding down the street in my vehicle here.
Rolling down the road, folks. It's not just a title, it's a reality.
It is. So I am really going to roll on down the road to Disability Advocates of Kent County. I have a meeting there. And so I will leave this at the desk for you, Jess.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Oh, it's such an honor and a pleasure just seeing your smiling face every day. And I love seeing your posts on Facebook. It's just, it gives me the tickles and the shivers every time I see you. So,
The tickles and the shivers.
All right. So, check out Williams Syndrome Association if you have any other questions about what that is. But again, it's all about abilities when you're hanging out with disability advocates. And that's where I'm going to leave it.
That's where we're going to leave it. Jess, any final words to the people?
if you have any questions about, what I do here, please call me at 616-949-1100 or my cell is 616-914-8415 for the Williams Syndrome or Disability Advocates.
Well, you go.
Folks, stay healthy and happy and smile every day and make everybody's day happy.
And make sure, I got to say this, folks, if you're going to do those fireworks on the 4th of July or anytime this weekend, be extra safe. You don't want to end up in the emergency room. And if you're going to do it, don't do it in Easttown because I don't like the noise. So, find a nice, quiet farm field in the middle of nowhere and blow things up, make noise. But
You
I'm
know,
just saying.
last year, the 4th of July, my folks and I went up north, and my dog, she's just nervous because of the whole firework thing, and she would never leave my mom's side. And I'm just like petting her, and she's just, shaking like this. And I'm like, it's all right. It's all right.
Good, good. All right, folks. Thank you, Jess. Hey, we'll see you in a minute, Jess, as I wander up front and get ready for my next appointment. Dr. Kimberly, as always, a pleasure hanging out with you, and we'll see you somewhere soon.
Oh, and let's get an applause for everybody who was on the show today. Just amazing how you guys did today. Thank you.
The milkman. Those are called bottle rockets.
Yes.
Bottle rockets. The milkman. Keep him away.
We want to say thank you so much to everyone for tuning in. You have been rolling on the road with Dr. Kimberly and Dave. And you know what? I mean, the show is just nothing without Amber and the milkman.
We keep trying to sign off, but that reminds me, folks, I think little kids 0 to 5 can get their vaccines now for COVID. Because for those that don't recall, somebody brought up the fact that too many people were getting their information about COVID and vaccines from their brothers, uncles, cousins, friends, barbers, milkman. And so it all goes back to the milkman. So that's why Amber keeps reminding us the milkman, who's the source of information and disinformation. That's why we bring on Dr. Carla Black, Dr. London, Adam London from the health department, and others. So we should probably be reaching out to Carla soon so we can get some good information on the 0 to 5 vaccines. COVID's still out there, folks. Keep being careful. And now I'm done. Milkman out.
And she said, it is my thank you. So we want to thank you to everyone who tuned in on today and those who will watch us on the replay. Thank you so much. You have been rolling on the road with Dr. Kimberly and Dave, and we'll see you this time next week.
See ya.
See you.